Hi, class. I hope this finds you well. Happy, I don't know, September, mid to late, starting of fall. It's always a nice time of year around here, except for the fires. But we're just gonna have fingers crossed for the rest of the year, huh? Let's just hope for no more of that nonsense. So, I just finished grading your exams, and they are really good. Everybody has a score, so you can obviously go look at it and then talk to me, and I put some comments in there. um you guys really did impress me with your knowledge of mead. I often feel like mead is a tough one, but once you kind of understand that foundational piece of symbolic interactionism, it becomes so much easier to kind of apply it to concepts, and other thinkers who followed in Mead's footsteps in terms of using, symbolic interactionism sort of frameworks as a way of understanding the human condition. So hopefully you feel confident in your Mead. It seems like you do, a lot of you. If you didn't feel so good about it and you want to check in and have a conversation, I would be more than happy to set up an office hour / Zoom or whatever would help you kind of work through it. Or if there's feedback on the exam you want to talk about, feel free to reach out. You guys are doing really well, though. I just have to say, I think you're all taking in this material really, really well, and I'm impressed with the work. And I don't say that just I really mean it. I teach at more than one school, and I see a lot of different types of students, and you guys are doing a really, really nice job with the material. So thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your hard work. So this week we're going to be moving into a couple of other kind of classical symbolic interactionist sociologists. Presentation of Self is Irving Goffman. He talks about a lot of different things, but he talks about, this is everything sort of riffs off of Mead in some ways. He talks about how we present ourselves, and this idea that we do, just like the looking glass self, we kind of internalize society and then give it back out to people based on how we interpret it. So he talks about life as a stage. That's kind of his gig. And we're actors on the stage. And so we're always working in this sort of front stage place, is what he calls it, where we're trying to do what he says is impression management, which is trying to get people to see us how we want them to see us, right? So as I'm talking to you right now, I am hoping that you look at me and you're like, smart sociology teacher. Okay, I'm going to take that in. She knows her sociology. And so I'm doing impression management, is what Goffman would say, in order to convince you that I am legit, right? And I'm doing that in my front stage, even though our front stages are now our houses or our kitchen tables, and maybe we have something from our waist up that looks like we're trying to impression manage, but maybe we have yoga pants on the bottom. I'm just not speaking, speaking for a friend, not myself, right? But in general, what we do in whatever environment. So, you can think of it professionally. If you go to work, what do you want people to see? How do you want people to see you? If you're in a relationship, how do you want your partner to see you? If you're talking to your parents, how do you want them to see you? Those kinds of things. And so he says we're always doing that, right? And that's when we're in our front stage. But then he says we also have this place called our backstage, where what he says we let our hair down. And so, I often ask you guys to consider, when are you in your backstage? Are you ever completely in your backstage? And if we're doing all this impression management because we're products of society, are we ever untouched by society? So those are things just to consider, okay? And then moving forward into the managed heart, which is Arlie Hochschild, it's going to talk about the commercialization of human feelings, and I would argue specifically the gendered nature of that, because certainly when we think about how we give care in a paid position, often those roles are more typically identified as female. So nanny. I'm trying to think of, I could run, I don't know. I'm sorry, my brain just didn't work right there. I just had a little brain fart. But how we kind of as a culture do this thing called what she calls emotion work. Okay. And so all of this is kind of just framed around this idea that culture shapes so much of what we do. And then we as the individual within the culture respond accordingly based on all sorts of things that we've internalized, right? And so we've internalized how to be, what makes a good teacher, what makes a good student, what makes a good female, what makes a good male, you know, what kinds of things are you supposed to be, right? And so then you're also going to watch this film called The Mickey Mouse Monopoly, which is a good film about kind of how Disney has contributed to that. And so you're going to watch it through your Sonoma State Canopy. So you're going to need to, log into that in order to get it. But when you click on the discussion post, I'm sorry, why am I having trouble talking today? When you click on the discussion post, it's going to show you, log into Sonoma to watch this film. So it'll show you exactly what you need to do. And then, you're going to talk about the two different articles and the film, and you're going to use a class concept to apply to the film. So this is kind of the way I'm going to be doing things a lot, like use a social psychological concept or a symbolic interactionist concept and apply it to blah, right? Because that's you using your tools to go do something, right? That's kind of where I want you to go with this sort of stuff. It's like, you guys did a fine job of doing, applying somebody to Anna and Isabel, right? A lot of you picked Mead. Most of you picked Mead. This is the Mead year. I don't know why, but it's exciting. So, those kinds of things will be kind of part of this class. Like, how do you apply a social psychological, symbolic interactionist concept to a social phenomena, that kind of thing. So anyways, that's what you're doing this week. I hope you're well. Congratulations again. You got through one exam. So there's 2 more, right? Kind of each about the same size, non-cumulative for the rest of the semester. Plus, I think 2 papers. So we will get into those as we get closer to them. But you have every assignment written in your syllabus that you can access. So if you have any questions on that in advance, always reach out to me. Alrighty then. I will look forward to seeing what you have to say about this and Looking Glass Self when that gets posted. All right, take good care.